So I had some darts tournaments the last 2 weeks, and it started with a disappointing performance at the Dart Players of Chicago 2 weeks ago. And then just this last weekend, I played some soft tip up in Kenosha, where overall I wasn't too happy with my darts, but me and Joey did win the doubles 501, so I was super excited about that. So I just want to do a quick little recap on those tournaments, and also just an update at where my darts are at. But before we get into that, guys, if you're new, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop the video a thumbs up, and check out BullshotDarts.com for Bullshot Apparel and Bullshot jerseys. Alright guys, let's talk about these tournaments. So this all kicked off with the Dart Players of Chicago event 2 weeks ago. This was a disappointing outing for me. I have struggled with these round robins all year long. And really every round robin I've ever played, I can never really find myself to mentally and physically throw my better darts. So I always have kind of a more negative mindset going into these tournaments. And then when they drew the bracket, I had Joey Beecroft on my board and Anthony Cianciolo, both who are top shots here in Chicago. Once we saw that all three of us were drawn on a board, all three of us, we were just basically saying, it's like, well, this kind of stinks because one of the three of us aren't going to make it out of the round robin because only the top two players make it out. And in the back of my mind, I already knew that it was going to be me going home early. And I know this isn't the best mindset to have, and it's close to impossible to win when having this mindset. But just unfortunately, the way I've performed at these round robins with those two guys on my board, that caliber of player, I just had a really good feeling I wasn't going to make it out of the round robin. And that's exactly what happened. My first two matches, I played Joey and Anthony, and knowing that those were my first two matches, it basically was going to dictate right there if I was going to make it out or not. I ended up losing to Joey 1-2, and then I lost to Anthony 0-3. And Anthony shot great darts. He threw a 90 average over our 3-game match that we had for the round robin. So after going 1-5 after my first 6 legs, I already knew I was going to be out of the round robin. So at this point, I just wanted to win the high out. I won the high out from the last event with my 170 out. It was the first time I ever hit one. And I figured I'm not going to make it out of the round robin. I'm not going to win any money through the tournament. So I might as well try to win a couple bucks and win the high out. So a little bit of a funny story here is that Joey took out a 156 a couple matches before. So after my first 2 matches, I had 2 left. So I knew I had 6 legs to try to get an out higher than 156. And my only goal in my last 6 legs was to get a higher out. So I was playing my match. Joey was actually chalking this match. I was sitting at 240. And my first dart hit the triple 20, and then my second dart hit the single 20. So now I'm sitting on 160 with 1 dart in hand. I figured this would be a good opportunity to leave myself higher than 156, so I went to the bottom of the board and hit a single 3. So this left me at 157, and when I went to retrieve my darts, I could see Joey laughing already because he knew exactly what I was doing. And then my next round up, I went triple 20, triple 19, double 20. So I ended up taking out the 157, and same thing, when I went to go retrieve my darts, me and Joey had a good laugh about it. But it gets even funnier because I'm feeling pretty good with my 157. I end up playing my final matches, I drive home, and I had to look at the stats because now I'm curious if I won the high out with my 157. And sure as heck, I'm looking at the stats, and there it is, Anthony Cianciolo with the new high out of a 158. So I thought that was pretty funny because, well, all three of us were on the same board. Joey started with the 156, I went with the 157, and then Anthony took out the 158, and Anthony actually went on to win the tournament. It was Anthony and Joey in the finals, and Anthony got the win. Big shout out to Anthony for getting the win. His darts have been awesome lately. It's been really cool to see. So that was pretty much it for that tournament. What was also nice too, I guess this will lead us into the soft tip tournament here, was the Kenosha City Classic is a tournament I usually go to every single year here. And it's just a soft tip tournament. They do a triples on Friday, doubles and singles 501, and then cricket doubles and singles. And normally when I go, I usually go for the singles cricket because doubles start at 10 in the morning and singles start at 4 p.m. So it's kind of a really long day. And as much as I love darts and love playing and love being around darts, those really long days take a toll on me, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. So I normally don't play doubles, but Joey asked me at the Dart Players Chicago event if he wanted to play doubles together because his partner dropped out a couple days before that, so now he was looking for a doubles partner. So even though I wasn't planning on going, but when Joey Beecroft asked you to play doubles, you don't say no. So me and Joey ended up playing, and I was really excited about it because we had only shot together one other time, and that was out in Vegas in, what, 2022. And we had a blast shooting together there, so I was really looking forward to play doubles here. And on top of being excited and, you know, fun to throw with Joey, it worked out great because the only event that I placed in was the doubles with Joey, and we ended up getting the win. So overall for the weekend, like I said, I still wasn't too thrilled with my darts, and honestly, it's probably not that my darts were too bad. I just had a very bad mindset going into it. I was struggling with my throw because I had not thrown soft tip in a while, and I throw with a different grip between my soft tip and my steel tip darts. And since my steel tip darts have been feeling so good, I was trying to use my steel tip grip and my steel tip throw on the soft tip board, and it just did not translate well. It didn't feel comfortable. So I found myself doing a lot of adjusting with my throw throughout the weekend. When I throw my steel tip darts, I have a much more firm grip on the dart, and it's more of a thrust towards my target, and I feel like I'm putting my dart in the target. Whereas when I throw soft tip darts, I normally have a looser grip and it's more of a lob into the target. So I was struggling with finding that throw, and Saturday was the doubles cricket and the singles cricket, and I just feel like I couldn't hit my target that well. Warming up was really good. When me and Joey were warming up together, I had a couple matches above a 5 and I was feeling good. Or no, I take that back. I was hitting my targets well, but I wasn't necessarily feeling that good. A lot of my throwing wasn't with confidence, but I was just happening to hit my target. And then once we got to the actual competitive environment where we're playing matches against people, that's when my mindset got worse and my darts felt like they were getting worse. Now, I don't know how bad they actually were, but in my mind, I felt like I was throwing terrible. So me and Joey ended up getting bumped in the doubles, and then when we got to the singles, once again, I talked about these days being really long, so by the time singles rolled around, with my negative mindset and just exhausted, I didn't really throw that great. I had some decent matches. One of them was on the stream. I'm actually going to upload that on here soon and talk about cricket strategy. But overall, just didn't feel that great, and then moved on to Sunday. So Sunday, same thing. I was still having these feelings, and I noticed that I was missing low with a lot of my darts. I mean, I would say that more than half of, or definitely more than half, probably 75% or more of my misses came on the lower end. So I started doubling in on the 19. So I was aiming at that top wire, and since the double's pretty big, it was coming in low, and I was getting in on that bottom hole a lot. And then when the 19 started feeling a little uncomfortable, I moved to the 16s. And what's funny is that I was trying to double in on the 16s, but I probably doubled in more on the 7 than I did the 16. And another thing too with soft tip doubles 501 is that they had the freeze rule in effect, and to not get into the freeze rule too much, but basically you can freeze your opponent from taking out an out depending on what the scores are. So when you play steel tip 501, it doesn't matter what the opponent's at or anything, you're just trying to get your highest scores possible and take out the out. But with the freeze rule, there's a lot of strategy that goes into it because most of the scoring is on the bullseye, which is only worth 150, but sometimes you want to get that triple 20 into play because it's worth more with the 180 if you 9 mark it. And I'm not complaining about the freeze rule because I love playing with the freeze rule because it adds a different aspect to the game. I'm not the biggest fan of 501 on a soft tip board with the full bull, because you're just constantly throwing at the bullseye, taking out the outs, the matches go really quick. So I'm just not the biggest fan of that. And I don't remember if I mentioned, but it was double in, double out. But anyways, I don't even know where I'm going with this. But basically, a lot of the strategy, I was trying to think about it while throwing, and that was throwing me off a lot. Because like I said, sometimes I would throw one dart, and I would have to look at the board, talk to Joey, and ask like, hey, what should I do with this? Whereas in steel tip, it's like, it doesn't matter, just keep throwing at that triple 20 and take out the out. So that was getting in my head a lot. I had some really bad throws because I was overthinking that. I almost lost us a match in that at least 2 times. But thankfully, our opponents missed their next shot, which left it open for Joey to get the win. But there were multiple times throughout this event where me and Joey probably should have lost. But that's the game of darts, right? I can't tell you how many tournaments I've lost because I've missed throws, and I can't tell you how many I've won because my opponents missed throws. It's just one of those parts of the game that make us say, I love it for that reason, but I also hate it. So that was pretty much it, guys. Just a little recap of my last 2 weeks and just kind of my mindset I've been working on, especially after soft tip. I need to get my mindset back on track because my darts were feeling so good for about 2 to 3 weeks, but the last week or two, I've had this little lull in my confidence. Sometimes I feel it and it's in full force and I feel great, but then sometimes my lows are really low. So I'm just kind of working on balancing that out. I've been getting in a lot of consistent practice, and then when my darts are feeling really good and I have a good mindset, that's where I throw my most and I take notes about what I'm doing. So when I do start to have that lull in my confidence, I do know where to go back to refine that confidence. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Just a little recap of some darts tournaments. I also want to give a big shout out to everyone involved in running the Kenosha Darts tournament. It's a big tournament. They're doing a lot of big things up there. I absolutely love going up there and shooting. The tournament was ran great, and I can't wait to see what's next in store for them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Some videos should have popped up somewhere over here. Click one, click them both. BullshotDarts.com for Bullshot Apparel and Bullshot jerseys. Drop this video a thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next video, and shoot well.